Hey guys, Tommy here, and welcome to my live reactions for the fourth integrated flight test of the SpaceX Starship launch vehicle. On the pad in Boca Chica, once again, we have Booster 11 and Ship 29, which are currently undergoing their propellant fill ahead of liftoff. Um, Last I saw the graphic that came up, they were mostly full on the ship, but they said they were going to pause ship propellant load in order to do the header tank fill and then continue filling the super heavy booster. Today's flight is a little bit different than previous integrated flight tests of Starship. If you remember my live reactions of Flight 3, Starship and Super Heavy were both lost during that flight. Super Heavy was lost at an altitude of about half a kilometer above the ocean due to a RUD. We don't exactly know if the vehicle exploded, if it was terminated. Well, we do actually know it wasn't terminated because the FAA said that the FTS was not activated. But SpaceX have made upgrades since then to Starship and Super Heavy to improve propellant filtration on the Super Heavy booster to prevent the kind of clogging with ice that we saw on Flight 2 and Flight 3. So the goals for this mission are very similar to the last time, but with the added emphasis of getting through the period of maximum heating on re-entry on ship and performing a soft splashdown on that's the Millennium Falcon. Performing a soft splashdown on the Super Heavy booster. Now, both vehicles are planned to perform landing burns today, which is something we haven't seen on the ship in a long time. Previously, ships would have just impacted the water at terminal velocity. Well, this time they're actually planning on soft landing the ship in the ocean, which is really cool. Glad to see they're finally going to be recovering the vessel, or not recovering, but testing re-entry. And there we have a shot of the 33 Raptor 2 engines on the base of Super Heavy booster number 11. Another addition to this flight will be the jettison of the hot stage ring about 2 seconds after the end of the boost back burn. This is to reduce weight because booster 7 through 15, we presume, were designed before hot staging was actually added to the Starship vehicle. So Starship, as we know it, is actually way overweight because remember they've had, look at that, you can actually see the Super Heavy booster's grid fins there moving. That's good to see. Glad to see that. But the hot stage ring will jettison to reduce weight and provide a more appropriate weight and aerodynamic property to the booster for recovery. And it's only a temporary thing. They have said that they're planning for the V2 boosters that they will not need to do that. The hot stage ring will be integrated with the booster and the booster will be able to land with it. So at T minus 19 minutes and 15 seconds, I will bring you back a bit closer to launch. Stay with me. We're at T minus 5 minutes and counting, and as you can see on your screen, propellant load on both ship and booster are very nearly done. We are go, as you can see in the top corner, the weather is go, the range is go, and the vehicle is go. We are counting down towards a success or towards a liftoff of Super Heavy and Starship on the fourth integrated flight test. It's getting real now, and we're getting close. We're, as you can see in the top corner, we're at 4 minutes 30, and we're counting down. Oop, wrong button. Sorry about that. Oh, and I've paused it. But we are getting really close now. We're getting really, really close now to Flight 4. And they confirmed in that pause there where I had the recording paused that after Starship clears the pad, the chopsticks, as you can see on the pad, that are used for stacking ships and will eventually be used for catching ships, will move to the catch position, although they are not attempting to catch the booster today. They will move to a catch position, and we assume that as Super Heavy descends over the ocean, the data being fed back from it will be fed into the chopsticks, and we will see a virtual catch attempt. That may not happen. That may happen. We don't know yet. But at 3 minutes 30 seconds, I will bring the SpaceX stream audio back on, and we will watch together as the final few minutes tick away, and we light this candle.
Get ship through the extreme heat of re-entry today. We're very excited to see that. We did get very close on Flight 3, so I'm excited to see how these iterations that we've made to the vehicle will help improve our chances of success today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just as a reminder for the booster, now we are not attempting to recover any
3
hardware
minutes and
today,
counting.
either on ship or booster. For the booster, we will be attempting to perform a landing burn to have a soft splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico. We made some improvements from our Flight 3 learnings, so hopefully that will work and we'll see a successful soft splashdown. For the ship, we're hoping to demonstrate controlled re-entry, including a flip maneuver and landing burn, and that will be followed by splashdown in the Indian Ocean. That is the same target as we had on Flight 3, so everything should look pretty similar in that regard.
There we go.
And we just heard the call out there that all prop load
is closed
out. So at this
out.
point, there is like 10 million pounds of propellant on board Starship, which is incredible.
That is an
It's getting very exciting. We are just about 2 minutes away from T0.
T-minus 2 minutes, we're 120 seconds away from liftoff.
And as Jesse just said, we are under 2 minutes away. So prop load is complete. All the fill drain lines into ship and booster have closed. Right now we're doing the pushback, so clearing out all those ground lines of propellant, and that'll be completed over the next couple of seconds. We're coming up on that T-minus 40 mark. Again, not planning to hold. If we do, or if we get a hold after we pass it, we can snap back to that T-minus 40. And then we can stay there for about 30 minutes or so.
They held there on IFT 1 to 1 and 2. They didn't hold there at 3, but we'll wait and see.
Once we pass T-minus 40,
lovely view of Star Command there.
Things happen both on the vehicle and the ground. It's running a lot of its own self-checkouts, venting different tanks and pressure lines throughout the vehicle. We essentially built that 40 seconds as that's about how much time it takes for the vehicle to take all of those actions, which is why we hold there. But all of that happens automated.
1 minute and counting.
Check out of the TVC, the thrust vector control, how we're going to steer. And then we see liftoff. So we're under a minute away.
Let's see if we proceed past.
45 seconds and counting.
Good event, game met.
All right, now as we close
all right, we're proceeding past it.
We are past the 40
We're proceeding
mark.
past. We're going for launch.
Let's listen in.
30 seconds.
Flight Director Ty Huntington's going to take us.
Flight Director is go for launch. 25.
For a Starship liftoff.
20 seconds. Detonation suppression system activated. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Deluge 3, 2, 1. Ignition! And we have liftoff. Camera doesn't like that. Oh, we have an engine out. We have an engine out on Super Heavy.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
But we are off and underway. Wow, look at those shockwaves. "30 seconds into flight. Vehicle still remains nominal.
30 seconds into flight. The rumbles are still building here in the Raptor's nest.
Good booster Raptor
We're
chambers.
seeing 32 out of 33 engines lit on the Super Heavy right now.
They lit 32 out of 33.
Max Q, that maximum aerodynamic
Oh, it's one of the
pressure
outer
still
engines
on
they've
the
lost.
vehicle.
That's okay. Starship has engine out capability. Max Q.
All right, we just passed through Max Q, so we're going to continue on up. We still have about a minute and 30 seconds until we get to stage separation.
Vehicle supersonic.
Starship now flying faster than the speed of sound.
Still 32 out of 33 engines.
All right, so you got a couple of views. You got some ground trackers in your top camera there. You're looking down from the top of the booster in the bottom left, and then a camera in the top flap of the ship looking back in the bottom right. So getting a couple of different looks as Starship heads uphill. Once we get the hot staging, a lot of things happen all at once simultaneously. We're going to light the engines on the ship, starting with the RVACs first, and then the three
Things still
center
looking
sea-level
good.
engines. Before we're separated, all of that exhaust gets plumed out the side of the hot stage, and then the ship will separate itself. All but the three center engines on the booster are going to
Still
shut
good
down.
booster Raptor
So
chamber
the booster
pressures.
never stops its thrust while we go through this hot stage maneuver.
Okay, we're approaching hot
After that,
staging
the
now.
booster's going to do its flip, start heading
Still
back,
only one engine out.
and then the ship will be on its own power on its way to space. So that should be coming up in just about 30 seconds from now. As of right now, still looking in like 32 out of 33 Raptors lit on the booster.
Pitching over.
And we'll start to see those stagger down. They're going to turn off in banks, so you'll see the lights on the bottom left screen of the engines that are
That's a
active
boost
start
Raptor. That's a Raptor
turn
boost
off
engine
in
that's
different
out, not
groups,
a
and
Raptor
you'll see
center.
those three
So this still
center
bodes
ones
well
lit.
for the landing burn. Oh, wow! The grid fins are moving.
Booster engine cut off.
Most engines cut off.
Ship ignition.
Good hot staging.
Separation confirmed.
Nice. Well done.
Boost back burn startup.
Boost back burn startup.
Acquisition Houston.
Very nice. Very nice.
Hot stage confirmed. Ship under its own power. Booster boosting back. Looks like all 13 are lit. Kate, we got a booster on the way back to the Gulf and a ship on the way to space.
Very, very nice. Very smooth so far, despite the
Acquisition
engine
signal.
out.
Stems.
Ship chamber pressures are nominal.
Good ship chamber pressures. That's what we like to hear.
Ship power and telemetry nominal.
All
And
right,
good
the
power
first
and
stage
telemetry.
Currently performing the boost
Awesome.
back burn. This is expected to last a little over 1 minute.
We're
This
over the
propels
Kármán line.
Booster back
We're
toward
in
the coast,
space.
taking it to a landing in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. As you can see on your screen in the bottom left-hand corner, we were only using
Yep, there goes the outer 13
center
engines.
from basically from here on.
Boost back burn
Boost back shutdown.
Heard confirmation
That was a
there
great
of
boost back
good
burn
boost
that
back
time.
burn shutdown.
H2 tank pressures are nominal.
Did we get hot stage jettison? Yeah. Oh wow!
Lots of excitement.
Yes,
So
we have
right
hot
here,
stage jettison. Look at that.
this is our view of the jettisoned hot stage. As
That's
we mentioned,
awesome.
This is a temporary fix to help.
Sayonara,
reduce the
hot
weight
stage ring.
of
Thank you
the
very much for the
booster,
assist.
to the super heavy booster. Future iterations will have a lighter weight integrated hot stage.
That's
structure
awesome.
that won't need to be jettisoned.
All right,
Now,
booster is
after
on
we
its way
jettison
back
that
down.
hot stage, the booster will begin to attempt its water landing in the Gulf. In the
Ship
meantime,
is
the
still
ship
going well.
will coast for about 40 minutes or so, up to an altitude of 214 kilometers. And after its coast phase, it will attempt a controlled re-entry, including a flip maneuver
Very
and
smooth.
a landing burn, just before splashing down in the Indian Ocean. But as a reminder, we are not
Starship
attempting.
trajectory nominal.
Good to
Good
hear.
news there,
Nominal
trajectory is
trajectories.
looking good for the ship, which is on the right-hand side of your screen.
Okay, super heavy is now trans-atmospheric.
At this point in time, as you can see, we have no engines lit on the booster. It is coasting back toward the Gulf of Mexico for a water landing and ship under power of all 6 Raptor engines. There's 3 sea level and 3 vacuum Raptor engines that are lit, as we can see on your screen.
This is very, very smooth. I mean, what would you expect for the 4th flight? Getting some venting coming off super
These
heavy.
views have been looking incredible.
Lots of cheers at SpaceX
Super
headquarters.
Heavy has been performing beautifully today. And you can hear the crowd is very excited about it. As a reminder for Booster, the primary goal today is to do a landing burn and a splashdown in the water.
Okay,
And
this
we
is
are
about
just
the time
about
we
30
saw
seconds away from that landing
Wow.
burn expecting to begin.
that view
And
from the
an
top of the
incredible
booster.
View from the
There's the grid fin
forward
actuators moving.
portion of the booster. This is basically on top of the super heavy
Look
booster.
at that.
Where
Whoa.
we have jettisoned that hot stage.
I hope
and
that
now
wasn't
you can see
important.
this incredible
Whatever that was that
view
flew away.
of Earth as it's making its way back down to the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, the booster is using the 4 hypersonic grid fins to guide itself through atmospheric re-entry.
25 kilometers and descending, 20 kilometers. Now,
And
I
we are
remember them
expecting that
hearing
landing burn here.
landing burn at about 5 kilometers. All looking nominal on ship as well.
And we will be igniting 13 engines, and this is a great view. On your left-hand side is a view.
Much
is
more
3
stable
views from
this
the
time than
booster,
last
and your
time.
right-hand side a view from the ship. And you can see those grid fins on your left-hand screen rotating and turning.
Landing burn start up. We got 12 out of 13. Come on. Down to 3.
Landing burn just begun, and you can see the water below.
Come on. Come on.
And we
Splashdown.
have
We have touchdown of Booster 11 in the Gulf, and we're tipping over. Woohoo!
Congratulations to the SpaceX team.
Not bad.
Ship has entered terminal guidance.
Ship is in terminal guidance.
Incredible. The
Expected loss
first
signal,
successful splashdown of the super heavy booster.
That was awesome.
Seeing it just tip over into the water before losing that footage. Now the next milestone is coming up in about under a
Acquisition
minute.
signal, Key West.
Ship is going to shut off its Raptor engines.
Ship engine
out,
We have
which we see right there.
Cut off of vacuum raptors. Next is the sea
As
levels.
we mentioned before, today's test flight is not an orbital flight, but rather one that demonstrates the Starship's orbital capability. So right now we are under power with just the 3 center Raptor engines. Expecting
And there
this,
we
and
go.
just there we could see that those have also successfully cut off.
Ship engine
Ship
cut off.
FTS is saved.
The FTS is saved on the
What
ship.
an
Nominal
incredible
orbit insertion.
Nominal
There's
insertion.
great news there. The call out, we were hoping to hear amazing views once
Yet again,
from Starship.
more
We have
beautiful
our
views.
second Starship in space. These live views being brought to us by Starlink, which is on board the ship. Dan, what an incredible view we have once again. So exciting. We got another ship in space.
Incredible views coming from the ship.
I'm like still jumping up and down. I'm like,
Expected loss signal.
this
Status.
whole building was going absolutely insane when we saw the booster hit the water. I mean, wow. Congrats to everybody that's just been putting in insane amounts of hours on everything to make this thing a reality. And I feel like every single time we do one of these, we're seeing something wildly new. We got to see the hot stage jettison and the booster in the water. But just to recap real quick over everything that's happened. So we lifted off at 7:50 a.m. only 9 minutes ago. How has it only been 9 minutes? 7:50 a.m. Central at 12:50 UTC. We saw 32 of the 33
What was that? Flew off?
Raptor engines on Super Heavy make the ascent. We had successful cutoff, successful hot staging, all 6 engines on the ship, powered it all the way into a
Oh, is this a view of the ship?
phenomenal orbital
Where's this
trajectory.
from?
And we've already been getting some live views from the ship on board. After that, the booster was able to do its boost back burn. Oh, this looks like we're actually getting some views from the ground still, potentially from Florida, of the ship
That must be
as
the-
it's up there.
That's the. Those are. These are the tracking cameras.
Yeah,
The
so
cape.
that's a view from some of our tracking cameras on the ground in Florida. But
These are the
ship, we
cameras that
just
are
heard,
usually used for tracking
successful
Falcons.
orbital insertion, so it's right where it needs to be, and is now going to continue on its way to coast until it comes to reentry. But I mean, the booster.
The attitude
boost
looks
back burn,
nominal. It looks
jettison
stable.
the hot stage, and then a landing burn. It looked like we saw 12 of the 13 engines light up, and then that first ever soft splashdown in the water. So a whole lot still to come. Ship now on its way to its primary objective of entry. That's going to be coming up in just under 40 minutes from now. So a lot still to come, but wow, what a 9 minutes to start this mission off. So
Very,
see
very
what
nice
entry's
so
going to
far.
show us, but that launch was incredible. Back over to you, Jesse and Kate.
Wow. I am still trying to catch my breath here. That was some incredible views that we have never seen before. It has been nonstop since liftoff, and with the booster having completed its job for the day, we're going to take a short break for about the next 28 minutes, and we'll return while we're going to take a break while the ship is continuing to coast before re-entry.
Exactly. As with Flight 3, Starlink may enable us to talk with the ship through re-entry with no communication blackout. We are still testing Starlink during this phase of flight, so of course nothing is certain. However, if we do have views, we will be sure to bring those to you live. Views such as the one, that we had. Well, of course, because I said it, it went away. So we will try to bring those to you live.
Very good.
Exactly. Views or no views, we'll see you back here at T plus 40 minutes for coverage of Starship's re-entry, flip maneuver, landing burn, and splashdown.
And I will see you at that time as well. For now,
Expected loss of signal, Q West.
I am going to pause the recording and I will bring you back just before re-entry. Classic space music. Classic space music. Classic SpaceX. What a phenomenal beginning to this mission. Successful liftoff. Ascent. We lost one engine on ascent. That's fine. Starship has engine out capabilities. We got through hot staging. Hot stage jettisoned perfectly. We got a landing burn. 12 out of the 13 engines lit up for the landing burn. And we got a splashdown of the Super Heavy booster. Super Heavy did its job perfectly today. Now it's over to the ship, and we will see you in about 20-ish minutes for some more fire and ice, shall we say, with the re-entry of the vehicle. Just a quick update as we pass 33 minutes and 20 seconds. Starship has passed its apogee and is coming back down. We haven't had views from the ship since I left you, but apparently that's some sort of technical issue on board the vehicle. They're still receiving signal from the vehicle via Starlink. The cameras just aren't working. Apparently SpaceX is working the problem and they're expecting the cameras to come back online before re-entry, so all going well. T plus 37 minutes and 3 seconds. We have camera views from the ship. And as you can see, the flap, the forward flap, is in its re-entry configuration. And the ship's attitude looks really stable. Rock solid, actually. So it looks like we are good to go for re-entry. And I will bring you back just... Starship is slewing to entry attitude. That's a good call. I will bring you back when we are getting ready to go in. T plus 41 minutes and 58 seconds. Starship is currently at an altitude of 131 kilometers, speed of 26,594 kilometers an hour, and we are in entry attitude, well and truly. We're coming up on our entry interface.
Starlink that's going to allow us to get as much data as possible, which we've said it before, we're going to say it 9,000 times. The data is the payload on these flights. So as much as we can learn,
if we can make it through the hottest part of re-entry, that's a huge win.
To an operational phase. Re-entry, obviously a really critical phase of the flight, and it's the one that we're now most focused on cracking to get us closer to that full reusability. Starlink is going to be able to send us
bits
data
of ice
back
starting to
all
flip
the
by
way
as we're
through
starting to...
re-entry. We've done some additional testing, and we're expecting to be able to get data from Starlink thanks to its high frequency and kind of the orientation.
Dude, that looks like Kerbal Space Program.
All the way through re-entry.
This is what I do in Kerbal Space Program.
We had this one on Flight 3. We've got 2 for this one. And we're going to continue adding views as we continue to evolve Starship. Again, this is an experimental vehicle. Believe me, I want as many camera views as you all do. So huge shout out to the AVI and the software teams and everybody that's been working with us. We're getting more cameras on Starship. Not just because it looks cool, but this provides an incredible
insight land below
into re-entry, which is you know, historically a really tough window to look
Starship is
through.
approaching entry
The
interface.
physics of reentry
There we go. We're
are
approaching entry
insanely
interface.
intense. One of my favorite NASA astronauts, Victor Glover, recently described it as with the forces and the flows and the temperatures, it's like pointing at a raging river in one spot and saying, tell me exactly what's happening right there. And like that's what a ship is experiencing as it goes through.
There's definitely
moving
bits
through the
of
atmosphere at
ice
more
and
than
other
5 miles a second,
flotsam
and
starting to
heating
go
up
past.
thousands of degrees. So just having visual representation, just being able to see what's happening.
There's definitely
is
bits of
incredibly
ice and
valuable.
flotsam
So
going
these
past the
views are
cameras.
gonna
We're at
be
an
through
altitude of
Starlink. We've got
113
this one.
kilometers.
This is in one of the forward flaps looking back. So if you see it rotating around, that's because, again, it's embedded in one of those forward flaps. So as we get through and we start to build up density in the atmosphere,
AOS at Mauritius.
This view is going to move around as the flap does.
All right.
And then the other one we had a little bit earlier is looking at one of the other forward flaps on the other side. Eventually, we're going to keep adding more cameras to Starship, get a couple of different views from the outside of all the different areas.
Here we go.
And
There's
then
the
also
plasma
eventually
beginning to
be able
build up
see
on the heat
payloads
shield. You can
once
see it
they're
at the
deployed.
bottom.
So a lot more
Starting to
exciting
get some
stuff coming up
heating.
in the future. But right now we're getting closer to re-entry. Again, we're going to be moving at hypersonic speeds of more than 5 times the speed of sound. We're going to see that plasma start to build.
You can
So
see that
Cape
plasma
Jesse
is beginning to
coming
build up on the heat shield.
Yeah, as you can see with that view on your screen, again, high def brought to us by Starlink. We can see the plasma beginning to build as the ship is getting closer to the Earth's atmosphere. Now, let's talk a little bit about how Starship will survive re-entry, hopefully, and control itself.
Exactly.
Look at
We've been
that,
talking
man.
about
That is so
This
cool.
entire flight test, there's 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles surrounding the bottom portion or the Earth-facing side of the ship.
Through 100 kilometers altitude, good altitude for entry.
Good to
Great
hear.
call-outs there. Now, during atmospheric
We're below the
re-entry,
Kármán
vehicle is
line.
going to
We're in
see
the atmosphere.
temperatures as high as 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit or over 1,400 degrees Celsius. So those tiles are there to help protect the vehicle from this extreme heat.
Yeah, and the flaps will help control it. Now, one noticeable difference I see immediately, those flaps are not moving as much as they were on flight.
Yeah, no,
So
they're
that
not
is a
wiggling
great
all over
sign,
the
right?
place.
We had unplanned loss of roll control on
You can
flight
see
3,
slight
so we
movements of
added
the
some additional
flaps.
thrusters, and we can see that they're working well, and we have a much more stable view. So those flaps, there's 4 of them, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. They're made out of
Very
stainless
nice.
steel. And yeah, they help steer the ship, which, as we can see, the plasma continuing to build. Now, if the ship survives re-entry, it will have to perform a flip maneuver as well as a landing burn. We saw this demonstrated in a couple of high-altitude flight tests.
Wow,
in
look
like
at that
2020,
plasma, man.
2021.
Oh.
Similarly,
Temperatures increasing on the nose within expected ranges.
great news
Good to
there.
hear.
It sounds like the temperatures that we are getting during this point, which again, we usually don't get
It's so
during
rock
spaceflight
solid, I
because of
can't
this
actually tell if the
plasma. We're
camera's
getting this
frozen, but it's
live.
not, because you can
These
see
are
the
great
flaps are
news.
still twitching slightly.
So similarly to, for example, the serial number 10 test that we saw a couple years ago, we're hoping to duplicate that again today. Hopefully we will see it live.
Let's hope we don't
basically
duplicate
the
SN10.
3
Let's hope we
center
duplicate
engines of the ship
SN15.
will reignite and gimbal or point to help
Oh, that is
flip the ship
rock
until
solid,
those
man.
engines are pointing down so that it can land vertically using Raptor's thrust.
And as you can see, even from the beginning of the program, we've designed Starship to land on Mars where there are no runways or other humans to help out. We also want rapid reusability, so we're doing...
Vehicle is passing through 85 kilometers altitude. The flaps have control of the vehicle.
Very
Great
nice.
news. Flaps have control of the vehicle. That's exactly what we want to hear for this flight test.
Yeah.
Again, we are going to be doing a propulsive landing instead of a more traditional means like parachutes. And we
Can you
are
imagine the size of the
expecting re-entry
parachute they'd
begin
need to
here
land?
in just about a minute.
Oh, man.
Re-entry
Look at that.
Awesome view that we have here.
Starship remains
This
on a
is
good
the-
entry trajectory.
This is
Good
the
trajectory.
same view that we had when we first returned from the coast phase. Again, this is looking at the side of one of the flaps.
And
It's incredible that literally at the bottom of this picture, we're basically looking through plasma, which is just absolutely mind-blowing.
Very, very,
wild.
just
Now, we are
rock
expecting
solid attitude.
Entry to begin here in about 30 seconds or so. Entry to splashdown is expected to last about 6
Expect a
minutes
signal,
long.
Mauritius.
And
Okay.
that flip maneuver
LOS
should
at
occur
Mauritius.
around about 10 minutes before splashdown. And such incredible
10 minutes
views
before?
that we're
Starship is
getting.
approaching peak heating region.
We're approaching peak heating.
Great call outs there.
Yeah, these views are absolutely astounding.
Nose temperatures continue to rise within expected region.
Good, good.
And in your bottom right-hand corner, you can also follow along with the altitude of ship as it's returning back to Earth.
Solid as a rock the whole way
So once
through.
again, this view is basically looking down into the plasma blanket that is building up around the exterior of Starship. It is traveling.
How are they protecting
as
this
you can see
camera?
on your screen. You can
This
look in the
camera's
bottom
essentially
right-hand
looking
corner and see how
directly
fast it's
into
going,
into
how high it is,
plasma.
as well as the general orientation. Again, we're seeing a lot more stability, a lot more control here on this flight.
Oh,
which
absolutely.
Is great.
This
It
is
shows that
just
the iterations, the learnings.
Starship is now in expected peak heating region.
yes. We're in peak heating.
All right, great news there, telling us that this is basically the hottest point that Starship should get during its re-entry. Now, the heat shield is working with the atmosphere for some like free braking. Okay, the atmosphere is helping to slow the Starship down.
Yeah, exactly. We're not using any engines or thrust to slow the vehicle down. Exactly what Kate mentioned. We're just using the atmosphere and those heat shield tiles protecting the vehicle as it's coming through that high heat temperature.
Yeah. Now, this is another one of those moments that we have been waiting for. Right now, the ship is currently re-entering
69 kilometers altitude.
And by all looks
Very
and
nice.
all call-outs that we're hearing on the net, it is doing pretty well. Now, we do not plan to recover the spacecraft today, but rapid and reliable reusability is the ultimate goal.
Man, look at those tip. I think those are tip vortices on the aft on the
Just
aft flaps.
pausing to just take in this incredible new
Whatever it was,
different
it
view
stopped
that
now.
we're seeing. We did get a similar view in Flight 3, but again, the vehicle did lose a little bit of its control, attitude control, and this is a very stable view. This is great. This is exactly what we want, and we are hearing that we're getting expected call-outs.
Mm-hmm.
Speed's really.
Starship is seeing half a G of acceleration, remains on a good entry trajectory.
We're at
You know,
half a
it's
G of
incredible to look
deceleration,
at
and we're
this
still on a
photo
good trajectory.
and wonder, wait, is it real? Is it frozen? You know, we can
Look at the
see
speed coming down.
So I was just going to say we can.
Nose temperatures have stopped increasing.
Yes.
Oh, that is great news.
That is
The
such
temperature is
good
no longer
news. The
building,
nose temperatures have
but I was
stabilized.
saying, like, we have a little bit of indication there. We can see that streaking that occurs and tells us that this is.
I can't
this is
believe that we're
indeed
seeing this
a
footage.
true view. So once again, we are looking basically through the plasma that is building up around the exterior of the ship.
I think those
And
are
I still cannot get over that we
vortices.
are getting a live view of re-entry
I think those
right
are,
now,
weight
live on your
vortices we're
screen.
seeing there.
Again, we've said this over and over, but all thanks to Starlink. We are able to use Starlink in space, which we're getting this incredible data. And not only just the data from the sensors, but getting live imagery of what is actually happening, which is great, which we've never been able to do live before.
Right. Now, just a quick future outlook here. So in about, let's see, at T plus about 1 hour and 2 minutes, we should hear a call out for entry transonic. That means that the ship is going near the speed of sound. And then about a minute after that, we'll hear another call out saying entry subsonic, meaning that the ship is going below the speed of sound. So these are all continued indications.
This is incredible,
that,
man.
the atmosphere, right, as the ship comes back down, it is getting through the more dense part of the atmosphere, and that atmosphere is helping to push.
I think this
against
is
the
going to be
vehicle,
what
and
astronauts
those heat shields are
see
protecting
one
the
day.
vehicle during this high
A
heat
little
period.
less insane than that, but instead they're going to have just the huge red plains of
Yeah, Kate and Jesse, we're
Elysium
starting to see
Planitia
as
or
the atmosphere gets denser, you're
Noctis
starting to see a few
Regio
more
or
particles
somewhere
make an appearance in the
Mars,
plasma there. You can see
Valles
you're looking down
Marineris
at the
spreading out
aft end
below
of the
them as
ship
they're
at the
approaching
top
their landing
left,
site
and
on
you're
Mars.
seeing essentially the flame build up as we go through re-entry. You've been hearing the call-outs. They're tracking things like temperatures in the nose cone, and those were right where we modeled them to be, which is really cool to see and to see in real time. But we're coming up. We're at about 67 kilometers in altitude. Our last signal with the ship on Flight 3 was at 65, so we should be making it past that point shortly. Obviously, as you guys pointed out, we're in a much better control this time as we re-entered in the right attitude. And our flaps have been steering the way so far.
Looks like little bits of
once we get through
ice
transonic,
going by
that's
there.
when you've
Start
got
NP chill
essentially
for Raptor landing bird.
different areas.
They're starting to
around
chill in the
vehicle
Raptor
where
engines
the
for
air is either
the
moving
landing burn.
faster or slower than the speed of sound. We'll eventually get to subsonic, which we have some experience with. We did in our suborbital campaign.
Start of Raptor chill
and
for
Starship
Starship
will
landing bird.
eventually
Yep.
get down to its terminal velocity as it's floating down to the water. That's just about 200 miles an hour or so. We are hearing that we're starting to chill some of the engines as we are, if we make it all the way down to the water, still going to attempt a landing burn, but still a ways to go. We're at about 64 kilometers in altitude right now. We made it through what's expected to be the peak heating, but now we're going to start encountering increased pressures as the atmosphere gets thicker and thicker.
Okay. 63
So we're at
kilometers.
63 kilometers, so we've already made it farther than we did on our last flight when that last signal was coming at 65 kilometers.
So we've survived past what ship?
So again, what
28
we're really
survived.
looking at here is the performance of the heat shield, of the flaps,
wow,
of the
look at
seals
that.
and the flaps. There's just a whole bunch of different areas that we're keeping a really close eye on as we re-enter.
Oh, what was that?
Starship remains on a good entry trajectory.
Good to hear. Good under trajectory.
And looking like we're still on a good trajectory. If you're seeing little camera moves, that's the flap moving as it continues to maintain.
Speed is really rocketing downwards
the
now.
attitude of the vehicle as it re-enters.
We're at 60
And I mean,
kilometers
not just
altitude.
camera views, but we've got sensors inside the ship. We've got those sensors down at the very aft end of the vehicle where we pointed out we had some intentionally missing tiles, where we've got some sensors looking at just how hot it's getting around there.
I want to know what the nose temperature was at
We
peak heating.
intentionally put those in essentially the least critical part of the heat shield, where if you had any kind of a breach, it wouldn't be great for reusability, but wouldn't be critical for actual making it through the re-entry into the landing.
Yeah.
58 kilometers. We're continuing to
18,000
descend.
kilometers per
And
hour.
right now we are over the Indian Ocean. We're actually getting closer and closer to that expected splashdown point, which is just to the off the northwest corner of Australia.
I just want to know what the stuff is that's going by. Is this ice? Is it heat shield? Filler from between the tiles.
And if you keep an eye on our speed, the speed is dropping. We're hitting the thicker part of the atmosphere now. The speed's going to start dropping precipitously. We're going to start getting
quite
to
quickly.
transonic pretty soon, and then after that we'll get into subsonic, where we're moving less than the speed of sound. But wow, what a light show so far!
Oh man, this is just incredible.
External temperatures are starting to come down.
Again,
Yes, good to hear.
this camera view is looking right at one of the forward flaps,
Ooh.
and we're strategically putting some cameras around the vehicle to just look at the different areas.
Oh no, bits of the heat shield are coming off.
Ooh, looks like we got the flap starting to come apart a little.
Oh no.
Yeah, it does appear that we have a little bit of burn through there. We can see pieces of the vehicle flying off.
Oh my
So
God.
it has been- it's been like watching Interstellar or something.
This is wild.
Oh
to
my
see
God.
this, but the ship is still coming down.
It's still in good
It's
attitude.
incredible to see.
How far can it
Hold
go?
on,
That's
hold
the
on,
question.
29.
Keep your eye on the altitude. viewed in the bottom right.
Hold on, 29.
4 kilometers right now.
Look at the shape of that
Now,
flap.
ultimately, the data is the payload today. We've been saying it multiple times. We're our teams are sitting.
Oh my God, look at the
reviewing
flap.
data live, learning where the hot spots are. As you can see, there's an obvious hot spot there with the flap. And learning how we can.
Oh
improve
my
this design.
God.
The goal was to get as far through this high heat re-entry as possible. Ideally, we'd love to make it all the way down and perform that.
There's a lot of
that
crud on that
landing, burn, and flip maneuver,
camera now. We
but
can't
may not get
exactly
that
see
far
what's
today.
happening.
We will see.
Again, this is a test, and we are gathering as much data as possible, visual data as well, which we can see here. We are getting a lot of debris covering the camera on your screen, but we can still see some of those sparks and flames from that high heat as ship is making its way back down to
Oh
Earth.
man.
Ship now at 50 kilometers and closing. The good news is we still got, looks like that camera lens just cracked.
Oh, that camera lens just shattered.
It's safe to say ship's getting a little beat up, but that's to be expected on a test flight. We are still learning how to improve the ship for total survival.
But
and
it's still
recovery
mostly
of the
intact.
high heat re-entry.
I'm honestly impressed that we're still getting this live view despite how much debris is coming off of this flap right now.
Oh my
The
God.
fact that we've got it is good news.
There goes the
And
camera.
I may
There
have
went the
jinxed it.
camera.
I apologize.
Oh, it's back.
Look at that. It's back.
It's back.
Still going.
It's still going.
SpaceX are excited, as you can tell.
We're at
by the
46
cheering
kilometers.
Behind us. There's still a sizable crowd here at Mission Control Center, Hawthorne.
A splashdown is expected in just about 4 minutes.
We're
from
below
now.
10. We're below 10,000 kilometers, or we're below 10,000
still
kilometers an
moving.
hour.
We still have live views. Starlink is
Vehicle
doing
is
an incredible
approaching
job.
maximum entry dynamic pressure.
Okay,
External temperatures are dropping.
we're approaching entry max Q.
Okay, good news. Those external pressures are dropping. The question is, how much is the ship is left?
Yeah, how much of the ship is
Can't
left?
really tell. We can still see some of that particulate coming off. And unfortunately, we do have a cracked camera lens. But for any photographers out there and videographers, we know that's part of the gig sometimes.
Yeah, and
Can
you
we
can
switch
see
to a
that the
different
speed is
camera?
rapidly slowing down. That's actually really great news for us. We want the vehicle to be slowing down before it splashes down into the ocean. That'll help set us up for that flip maneuver, engines first down into the water.
Exactly. So we have seen this flip maneuver demonstrated on previous high altitude flight tests like
Oh.
serial number 8. Oh, more views.
More more
I should say
bits
more
going.
light coming through the view that we have through that cracked and dirtied lens there. But
More
yeah,
bits
so we're
coming
hoping
through.
that this flip maneuver that we can pull it off.
Lost the camera
as
view
soon as
again.
we get those views back, if we can get them, if the ship is still around, we will bring
Vehicle
it back
has
to you.
passed maximum dynamic pressure.
Yeah!
That is great news. Maximum dynamic pressure.
We're
being
through entry
the
max
moment in which the
Q.
vehicle experiences the greatest amount of aerodynamic pressure.
Is it still intact though?
Speed still dropping. We're now at 37 kilometers above the ocean. Just like Flight 3, we are targeting a splashdown in the water in the Indian Ocean.
We don't have a live view right
I'm
now.
not sure
but
what
because we're
attitude
still getting data and
control the
telemetry, that
vehicle
does
can
tell
have
us
at this
that
point.
Ship is still doing okay, at least.
With one of its flaps literally melting off.
There, we got that live view back.
Got it.
The crowd very excited to see that view, despite not being able to see very much.
The fact that it's there.
Yeah.
tells us the ship is still alive.
Yes, and
For now.
collecting data, continuing
Yeah.
to collect data as we get closer and closer to
It
Earth.
survived.
Yes, now 30 kilometers, now 29.
What ship is it
above
in,
the
though?
Indian
Starship is at
Ocean.
30 kilometers altitude, Mach 2.
Mach 2. 30 kilometers.
Sounds like the vehicle's traveling, as we just heard, Mach 2, which is, looks like we might, I thought maybe it might clear up. It is a little bit, now
Nose
it's
is
T+1
dropping.
hour, 3 minutes and 13 seconds into Starship Flight 4, hoping that the ship
That
can
flap
hang
is
on.
still
It's
attached.
probably
You can see the outline of the
potentially
flap.
hanging
It's
on
still
by a couple
attached.
of bolts and threads. But it's still going, and that is excellent news.
That deceleration is looking incredible. We're about to go under 1,000 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
Starship
And
is at 20 kilometers altitude.
now keep in mind that even though we can't see anything, the data itself is what we really
Oh my-
Starship is subsonic.
Subsonic. It's
subsonic, they're telling
stable.
us it's traveling below the speed of sound.
It's stabilized. Oh, she's a bird with a broken wing.
The flaps are actuating. I think we can see something.
The flap is actuating. It's melted off, but it's actuating.
This is a nail biter.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, we can't see through the lens, but we're still getting the feed. Starship is now 11 kilometers over the
You can see the
ocean.
flap
All
is
this data
actuating.
incredibly
10
important.
alright, so we're at
Even
10
if,
kilometers.
it breaks up right now.
Oh my god, the flap is
Okay,
still
we see that
intact.
flap actuating through the glass.
Look at the shape of the flap.
Starship is passing through 10 kilometers altitude.
Okay, the next milestone will be initiation of the flip maneuver and landing burn.
Oh my god, look at
Keep
the
an eye on the
shape
bottom
of that.
right corner of your screen for those 3 center engines to relight. They will gimbal or angle so that the ship flips itself back up.
No
vertical
way.
And hopefully lands in a vertical position.
Look at the state of
And
the
the crowd is
flap.
very excited to get this view of that flap still
Starship
maneuvering.
is passing through 5 kilometers altitude.
Oh my god.
This is incredible. We're getting very close to splashdown.
2 kilometers.
These fireflies are such a good sign of life right now. We wish we could see more, but we'll
I wish
take
we
it.
could see more. 1 kilometer. Right, we're coming up on relight.
Starship is at 2 kilometers altitude. Terminal velocity.
Terminal velocity. Come on. Come on.
Landing burn startup for Starship.
Landing burn startup.
All right,
It's
guys,
vertical.
there.
Look at the state of the flap. Oh, the flap just buckled.
Nominal chamber pressure.
Landing bird startup.
Nominal chamber pressures.
Starship is in landing burn.
Landing burn. Uh-oh.
Landing burn shutdown.
It's in the water.
The landing burn shutdown was commanded.
No way. Did it land?
Wow. I mean, it was a little bit of use your imagination as you were going down with what we could actually see, but we were able to hear the ship did its landing burn. It sounded
Starship
like we
landing
might have
burn
got
shutdown.
2 engines. And there's the final call for landing burn shutdown, but we'll go back through all the data, but we did get confirmation that a landing burn took place. Starship made it through re-entry.
Oh my
Did its
god.
first ever landing burn.
It did
South
it.
Texas to the other side of the earth. Starship is in the water. What a day! What a
Oh
day,
my
guys.
god.
That was absolutely incredible. We we got views pretty much the whole way down. Analysis said it could do it. We weren't sure if it was going to be able to happen, but Starlink powered through, and we were able to get signal. We started to get some debris on
What
the
did we
cameras
just
and everything,
witness?
but we were able to see it. So, I mean, what a day! Just recapping, everything started off today. We lifted off from here in Starbase just about an hour ago. It feels like a lifetime. Successful super heavy ascent, boost back, and its own splashdown in the Gulf. Ship made it to space, kept its attitude. Successful re-entry through peak heating. We got to see it under flap control through the atmosphere, and we got call out of our first ever ship landing burn after a launch into space. So just really incredible. So I'm gonna take
It
some time to
was-
collect myself, but wow,
was-
that was incredible. I can't wait for the next one. Over to you guys.
It was so loud here. I haven't heard the crowd get that loud probably since liftoff of Flight 1, honestly.
That was incredible. Congratulations to our teammates, to everyone who supported the Starship program. Thanks to all of our future customers for your support. And we'd also like to thank the people of Cameron County, Texas, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the government of Mexico. And since Starship got a little bit toasty from that extreme heat of reentry, and we've got our very
Oh my
own
God.
Starship right here, let's have a toast of our own.
I've been waiting all morning for this.
Okay, may I?
Light me up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Just like Starship, I like this toasty.
He's got one too.
I'm keeping this.
Now, we've got more Starship test flights coming to you soon. Be sure to follow the SpaceX account on X for more updates from today's test flight and future Starship tests. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Okay, let's recap what we just saw. We had a successful liftoff of Booster 11 and Ship 29 from Orbital Launch Pad 1 in Boca Chica, Texas. They successfully performed their ascent burns through max Q despite losing an engine on the way up. Then we had a nominal hot staging, a nominal flip, a nominal boost back. The hot stage ring was jettisoned. The booster continued to descend nominally through the atmosphere. Ship propulsion was nominal throughout its whole ascent. We got a landing burn on the booster. It soft landed in the water despite losing another engine on the landing burn. The ship orbital coast was nominal. We didn't get footage for most of it due to some sort of software glitch on board the vehicle from what we know. But the most important and the craziest thing, we got the ship through re-entry and into the Indian Ocean. That was the most crazy, nutty thing I've ever seen in my life. That ship re-entering one of its forward flaps, melting off essentially, and still successfully landing in the Indian Ocean. We have a confirmation tweet from SpaceX of a confirmed splashdown. So it's not like the vehicle broke up as it hit the water. It hit the water and then we see it survived. What an incredible turn of events for SpaceX. Turn of events. I don't know why I said turn of events, but what an incredible day for SpaceX. Congratulations to the team, to all the workers who have made this possible. Congratulations to NASA, to the FAA, for this wouldn't be possible without their support. So massive congratulations to everyone who was involved in today's success. This success is it's yours. So well done to you. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.